Well, hello, anyone who happens to be watching and listening to this. I wonder how you're reacting to what's going on at the moment. Perhaps there may be an aspect of fear. It's a bit like a child who's frightened of the dark, or an adult who may be worried about what's going to happen. In some ways, it all feels a bit out of control, doesn't it? Well, we're called, are we not, to a life of faith, to a life of trust rather than a life of fear. And as I was thinking about this and trying to think of a psalm, I've chosen the first 2.5 verses of Psalm 40, which I'll read to you. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of a slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. And what's reassuring in this psalm is that God is saying, I am with you in this pit. I have not left you there, I am with you there. And we all know Psalm 23, and of course that was adopted by Jesus, and when he spoke about the Good Shepherd, and we read about he who went through the shadow of death. So we know that Jesus understands. And the psalmist cried out that he waited. In other words, he attended on God. And he waited patiently. God's timing is perfect. We may be in a rush, but his timing is perfect. And he, God, he is a rescuer. He is the one who is going to rescue us from this mess. And he's going to place us on firm footing, on a rock. On a rock we will stand. Isn't that a lovely promise to hold on to at this difficult time? He is going to place us on the rock. And he's going to give us a song in our mouth, and we're going to want to sing. And in some ways, I don't know about you, but I feel that the Lord has come close to me through this difficult time as it stands at the moment, and I'm sure he will even more so when we're through all this. We can have a song on our hearts now, knowing that a song on our hearts will be even greater later. And in some ways, there's a parallel, is there not, with Easter? Jesus went through the crucifixion before he went to the resurrection. We are going to go through the valley of the shadow of death before we emerge on the other side. But we know that he is with us. We know that he is our rescuer. So I'm just going to read that to you briefly again. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of a slimy pit, out of the mud and the mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Isn't that a promise and a reassurance we can all hold on to? Amen.